Boys and girls, let's come to standing on our mat or in our space as we tell today's yoga Bible story. One day, Jesus was talking to a large crowd. Can you step your feet out to your toes pointing the corner of your mat? Wow, for a big wide squat. Now let's take our arms out to the side and show how big that crowd was. Jesus was teaching the crowd about peace. Now we'll stretch one leg as we squat down to one side. Now let's squat to the other side. He was also teaching the crowd about generosity. Do you know what generosity means? It means to be giving and to share. Well, in order to teach the crowd about generosity, Jesus told a story. He said, one day there was an owner of a vineyard. Let's take one leg, lift it up, and step it far back behind us. And now we're going to take our hips and try to face them forward. Now, a vineyard is a place where grapes grow. I see the grapes right there. Let's pick one and eat it. Delicious. Well, the owner of the vineyard looked at his grapes and said, I sure do need help picking all these grapes off the vines. So the owner went to town. Let's step our foot forward as we travel to town. And he saw some people sitting in the town square. Now we're going to take our hips and move them back into chair pose. And that owner said, anybody help me pick my grapes? If you can, I'll pay you $1. Very good. And several people said, yes. Let's lift up that same leg and step back into this position called Warrior One. That's where my hips are facing forward. Oh, try your best. Good. That really gives a stretch in my back leg. So this is how we travel back to the vineyard, where they started picking grapes. So watch how we're going to pick grapes today, boys and girls. We're now going to come into a Warrior Two position. That's where my toe in the back is facing one direction and my toe on my bent leg is facing the other, like a T. Now I'm going to reach to an extended side angle pose and pick the grapes. Good job. Let's step forward again. Well, later in the day, about lunchtime, the owner of the vineyard noticed. Now let's take my other leg, step it back into Warrior One. He looked at all the grapes. Good grapes. Wow, I still need helpers to help me with my grapes. So he went to town. Good job. Let's sit in our chair pose. Ready? And once again in the town, he said, anybody can help me pick my grapes? I'll pay you $1. And there were plenty of people excited. Yes! Now that other leg, the opposite leg that we did before. Let's step it back again. Good job. So they went to the vineyard and they started picking their grapes. Here we are now, boys and girls, in Warrior Two. Strong, looking good. Reach and pick the grapes. Good job. Now step forward again. Well, it was even later in the day, and the owner of the vineyard decided to go look out at his land again and realized there was still more work to be done. This time we're going to head straight back to town. You ready, guys? Sit in that chair position. Well, when the owner of the vineyard got back to town, he noticed some people just sitting there in the town square. And he said, hey, why aren't you working? And those few people said, Well, we want to work, but we don't have a job. No one's hired us. Boys and girls, can you bend at the waist while you try to keep your legs straight? Ooh, what a stretch. Now let's put our hands on our mat and come all the way down to our bellies. Well, the owner of the vineyard said to them, "Oh, well then you can come work for me. I need help picking grapes in my vineyard." Now, boys and girls, when we say that part of the story, we'll put our hands right here by our face, or maybe even a little bit in front if you need more room to stretch your back. And you lift while you keep your hips and legs on the ground. Stretch. Well, those people were very excited to have a job opportunity. Now let's come to all fours, tuck our toes, and we're gonna head back to the vineyard in a downward facing dog, like this. I look like a triangle. Well, those people worked for the last hour of the day and helped finish all of the work of picking the grapes. Let's come back down to seated, boys and girls. After the work was all done, the owner of the vineyard lined up all of the workers from the day. Let's stretch one leg out. Think we can do the other side too? Oh, they're already ahead. Good. And the other leg. Well, he lined all of the workers up and started to pay them their wage for the day, the money that they earned. How much money did they earn, you guys?
$1.
Everyone the same. So let's pay them. $1 for you. $1 for you. $1 for you. $1 for you. Well, after the owner paid all of the workers, there was one worker who had been there since morning time that got pretty grumpy. Now, boys and girls, take your knees and your legs and bring them close to your body. We're gonna cross our arms like we're grumpy. And that worker said, "Hey, why did you only pay me just $1? I've been here since the morning time working all day long. That other guy just got here and you paid him the same." Now, boys and girls, we're going to come lay on our backs, but very slowly, okay? Use your tummy muscles. Well, the owner of the vineyard answered, "Why are you mad? You knew the work was for the day and you agreed to earn $1. Oh, now I'm straight on my mat, just like a straight dollar bill." Now, boys and girls, I want you to take your hands and place them on the ground, like you're grabbing the ground to help us be sturdy. Now we're going to bend our knees with our feet flat on the ground. And as I tell the next part of the story, we're going to drop our knees to one side for a stretch, and then again to the other side. Well, the owner told that man too, "It was a fair wage I paid you. And I wanted to be generous in giving with my money to the people who came at the end, who didn't have work." It's important to be giving and sharing, and it's much better than being stingy. Now, boys and girls, put your hand on the ground to push yourself back up to seated. When Jesus finished telling that story, he looked out into the crowd and he said, "I hope you have generous hearts." He wanted everyone to understand how important it is to share and be giving instead of being worried about having the most or being first. Boys and girls, I hope this week you can be generous. Maybe share a special toy or think of a way that you can give to someone. And don't worry, God is taking care of you. Let's close with our special yoga word. Namaste.
Namaste.
Now that we know the postures, let's tell the story again, all the way through, and see what we can remember. Are you ready? Here we go. One day, Jesus was teaching to a large crowd. He was teaching about peace and about generosity. And he decided, in order to help the crowd understand best, he would tell a story. And he told this story. One day, there was an owner of a vineyard. And he went out to look at his grapes and realized he needed help picking all those grapes. So he traveled into town to ask people sitting in the town square, "Anybody can help me pick my grapes? I'll pay you $1. And many people agreed. So they traveled back to the vineyard and they started picking the grapes. Oh, we gotta reach, there's a lot of grapes. Good job. Well, later in the day, the owner of the vineyard went back out and he noticed, wow, I still need help picking these grapes. There's so many. So he, of course, went back to town and he asked again, "Anybody can help me pick my grapes? I'll pay you $1. And a few more people agreed. So they went back to the vineyard to help pick the grapes. Ready? Reach! Nice job. Good job. Well, it was almost the end of the day, and the owner noticed that he still had more grapes to pick. So he went back to town to ask for help. And he noticed a few people just sitting in the town square. And he asked them, "Why aren't you working?" To which those few people answered, "Oh, we don't have a job. We wished we did, but we don't." Well, the owner of the vineyard knew right away and told them, "Hey, you can work for me. Come pick my grapes at the end of today and I'll pay you $1. Those people were so grateful for the owner's generosity that they immediately went to the vineyard to work for the rest of the day. Now, it was the very end of the day, and the owner lined up all of the workers to pay them for the work they had done. So he paid them $1 each. All the grapes had been picked so well. When suddenly, one of the men who'd come earlier in the day got very grumpy. And he said, "Hey, Mr. Owner, why are you only paying me $1? I've been here since the very beginning of the day. And these people, they just barely got here and they get the same as me? That's not fair." To which the owner of the vineyard replied, "Hey, why are you complaining? You agreed to come work for me today for $1. It was an agreement from the beginning. And these people that came at the end of the day haven't had work. So I wanted to be generous. I wanted to be giving. It's so much better to be generous than stingy." Well, when Jesus finished telling that story, he looked out onto the crowd and he reminded them how important it is to have a generous heart instead of a worried heart or a stingy heart. And to remember that God does take care of us. We really do love you, boys and girls. Namaste.